Aloha, I'm Kimo Hussey, and this is my friend Manny Halican. And this is something that we get to show off just a little bit. You know, one of the wonderful, wonderful things that we talked about in the Ukulele Guild of Hawaii is a phrase, and that phrase is beyond C, F, and G7. And what that refers to is that a lot of times when we learn to play the ukulele and we learn to hold C, F, and G7, which is great because by doing that we can play right away. But sometimes we get in a groove and we cannot figure out how to get outside of C, F, and G7 in order to grow in ukulele. I want to tell you, ukulele folks, that one of the things we talked about earlier in the year is a baritone project, or what we would call a baritone project. Number one, it gets us out of normally C, F, and G7. Number two, baritones have been around forever, but they haven't been talked about or emphasized at all. So we thought that one of the things we would do is to fashion a baritone project. So we've got several people building baritones, and what we want to do is share one of them today with you. And the project, if you remember, Manny, was it moved from a baritone project to what we call low and mellow. And so our special project for this year, 2020, was what we'll call a baritone or a low and mellow project. So we talked to about 4 or 5 or builders, and gave all of them the option of building a baritone, but asked them to do something different. Give it a low and mellow sound, but do something different. And what Manny did was to come up with this beautiful instrument. So what I want you to do, Manny, is tell us about this instrument. You tell us about this instrument, and I'll point things out as you talk about it.
Yeah, okay. The design is a Spanish design parlor guitar body. Mm-hmm. The body is the smallest guitar they make, and I decided to make it a thin body, so it's only 2 inches thick.
How did you come up with the idea of making it a parlor size body?
Well, when the baritone project came up, I made a few baritones.
Right.
And I wanted...
You made a few good ones.
I didn't just want to make another baritone.
Good for you.
So I wanted to take it out of the box a little bit. So I went to a parlor guitar, turning them into a baritone ukulele.
Uh-huh.
It's a 24.5-inch scale.
And that's the distance from here to here.
To the saddle, yeah. And this design, the plans that I got was a 12 fret at the body. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't go beyond 12 frets.
Right.
And
for what reason?
I didn't want to cut the collar.
Oh, you didn't want to cut this.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you want to play it, you play it as a 12 fret guitar.
Right. So
baritone.
What is this? What did you call this?
A collar. That's a taro.
Taro plant.
Taro plant.
Ah.
Yeah.
So this taro plant and the design was part of your initial thinking.
Yes.
Of the instrument.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So when I cut the frets into this, I got to here and I said, man, I don't want to mess that thing up.
So basically we have a 12 fret instrument.
Yeah.
Which is perfectly fine.
Yeah. And the scale is the parlor guitar scale that was designed for this body. Mm-hmm. And the bracing, the sound bracings on the bottom, yeah, it's a broken up a guitar X brace,
right.
But it's not connected at the crossing, the joint of the X. And then there's a lot of little fingers in between the X's.
Are these, here's the sound hole right here. Can we see that, Mr. Cameraman? We can see the sound hole right here, and there are actually two others on this side. One is here, and nope, there's just one. There's one here on this side. No, there's just two sound holes.
Yeah.
Okay, so the plans that you had originally for this was the sound hole.
Yeah,
in the
the
middle.
center sound hole. Yeah.
You decided to use your own
To go the other
creativity
way,
to put one here and one here.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that idea?
My thinking now, I'm getting into not doing anything on the soundboard, not putting any sound holes or anything that obstructs
Nothing over here.
Yeah, nothing that obstructs the beauty of the soundboard, and then it lets the whole top vibrate.
So there's it makes the top look nicer, but there's also a sound contribution, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Without having the sound hole here, it allows the vibrations to travel all the way up.
Got it. The sustain is unbelievable. Oh, I think you go to bed, put this in the case, wake up the next morning, it's still doing that. Okay, so you think that moving the sound holes has contributed to the sound?
It helps the vibrating the top a little bit more.
What kind of wood is this? This beautiful top.
That's a Claro walnut.
Walnut.
Yes.
Most of the time when guys have mentioned walnut, I think of walnut as a wood for the back and the sides.
It normally is.
Ah.
Yeah, but when I took this project on, because I only build ukuleles, all my sets were ukulele size.
Got it.
Didn't have a size this big to cover this design.
Uh-huh.
I went through my whole pile, and this is the only set I found big enough to do this project.
I'm trying to think if I've come across a Claro walnut top before, and if I had, it hasn't been very often. But whatever you did, the sound and the looks is very good. Okay, so what was the inspiration for the tarot?
All my ukuleles, I try to keep it a little bit Hawaiian. Yeah.
Cool.
So I put some, not too much blingy.
Yeah,
but
cool.
yeah.
Okay, and while we're still up front, notice that this has a 0 fret. I love 0 frets because whatever reason you have for using 0 frets, the reason why I like them is that it makes the action on the first, second, and your third fret really, really nice and light. So why did you put a 0 fret in here?
I started putting 0 frets in maybe about 12 years ago, and I like the setup. It's so easy to find the lowest action from the nut size.
Right.
So you cannot go any lower than that.
Right.
And it just, makes the setup way easier.
Okay. I'm not really good with colors, but there's something about this, the red that goes all around here and up here on the sides that I really like. Why did you choose red?
I like the red when it shows up against the wood, the color of the wood.
Yeah, and up here on the sides, it's very, very nice. Also, there's a red thing up here. What is this?
That's my logo PK for Pahu Kani. Yeah, it's filled with resin.
Good for you. Okay, coming around the sides, there's this sound hole. This is your design to put this here.
Yes.
This kind of grew out of a side port. Yes.
Right.
Cool. Okay, let's go to the other side. And did this grow kind of out of a side port too?
Initially, it was just a cutaway, But then when I looked at the cutaway, there's a big blank space here.
Right.
So I just decided to put another sound hole there.
Right, and the way and the way you did this hole with the koa
Yeah.
here, and the red is just really beautiful. Good for you. And then the sides and the back
Is koa.
koa.
Yeah.
Okay. And here I see this black. Is that ebony?
That's Makassar ebony.
Can we see this? Okay, good. Macassar ebony, all up the center too. Yes.
Yes.
And the
Tiger
the
maple.
neck looks like maple. Continue on with the koa and the resin. Is that
Resin,
up there?
yes.
Red is resin.
That's actually a rot in the wood,
Right. Oh,
and I
see.
just filled it in.
The resin was to save it.
Yes.
That's wonderful. Cool. I've seen people use resin in like the back where the wood was not good.
Yeah.
You know, so they put resin.
Yeah, you can see
to
that.
connect. It was
Yeah.
really, really good. Okay, and is there anything special about the bracing inside that you did, or did you just stick to the plans that you had?
No, I just my own the sound bracing is my own design. Is it configured from the X guitar brace?
Got it.
But all different.
Got it. Why did you choose to use a thin body like this? Was this part of the plan, or was this your idea?
No, that was the original part of the plan. I mean,
thin body
my
like
idea.
this.
Yeah, my idea. Because the original plan is thicker.
Thicker.
Yeah.
So why'd you thin it down?
Because of the size of the bulkiness of the ukulele,
Ah,
it
no
makes
wonder
it
it's
a
a
little
bigger
bit
instrument,
more
but it feels pretty comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that the instrument is a little bit out of tune. So let's tune this thing up and talk about sound. Tell me, Manny, how would you describe the sound of this ukulele?
It doesn't sound like a baritone, the normal baritone.
What's the difference?
I think it's a little bit brighter. A brighter. If you take a normal baritone, it has a little muddiness to the sound.
Right.
A low
Right.
muddiness sound.
Right. I agree. I mean, it's you can tell that it's a low and mellow sound, as opposed to high and bright. And there's nothing with regard to high and bright and low and mellow that's designed to be good or bad. It's a matter of preference. And so the project was for low and mellow. And what I wanted to do was to emphasize what you said, because I agree totally, and that is, you can hear the lows that are very, very clear, but they're not muddy.
Yes.
And when I play a chord here, and here, and here, and here, down on the first and second and third fret, the chords doesn't sound muddy. They're nice and clear and beautiful. And what I mentioned about earlier, the sustain is unbelievable. And I'm not plucking real hard. See that? And it's so beautiful. Okay, so we've talked about the looks. We've talked about the building process. I want to tell the audience that the action on this ukulele is very, very wonderful and light. And I appreciate a good job on that action.
Thank you.
Now the other thing is, when I play this chord here, it's nice and resonant because there's a lot of string length to still play with, and as we all know, on an ukulele, the farther up you go on the fretboard, the more sonority you lose. But listen to this instrument, and here And here, it's just really beautiful. So this chord, played in the same shape up here, has lots of sonority and definition. You can hear the individual strings, and therefore you can hear the wonderful harmony that it's producing. Beautiful job, Manny.
Thank you.
Let me play a little bit of a song, and what I'd like to do is to play this song to highlight how well the lower strings are defined in terms of sound and pitch, but they don't sound muddy. Beautiful. Beautiful,
Beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful. One of several baritone or low and no projects that the Ukulele Guild of Hawaii has sponsored, and stay tuned because you'll get to see the other instruments. Most of them are already built, and we're still waiting for another, but more to come. Thanks.
Aloha.